Welcome to Blissful Productions! I'm Chloe D, and I want to talk about the sexism I've noticed in Disney princess live-action remakes. In Disney's original animated movies, the princesses generally possess traits commonly associated with femininity, such as gentleness, grace, or dreaming of true love. When remaking these movies, Disney seemed to want to empower their female leads, which is great, but they go about it by imbuing these characters with traits that are typically associated with masculinity and take away those traditionally feminine aspects of their character in an effort to create a strong female character. This inadvertently perpetuates the idea that femininity equals weakness. Disney's attempt to fix their animated princesses comes across as very pseudo-feminism. Now, what is pseudo-feminism? Well, feminism is about women having equal rights as men, and having women be able to choose the life they want, whether that's a career woman, housewife, or other. Pseudo-feminism, also known as fake feminism, involves using feminist ideologies in ways that undermine or contradict the actual goal of feminism. This can look like a corporation taking on a so-called feminist outlook for better marketing, but not actually incorporating any of its rhetoric. I believe Disney has done this with some of their live-action princess remakes. The main victims in question are Beauty and the Beast, Mulan, and the marketing done for Snow White. By falling into the pseudo-feminism hole, Disney has placed women in a box, saying that there is only one kind of strong woman, which suspiciously resembles a man. This is even more evident when contrasted with one live-action remake done right, Cinderella. In my opinion, this is the only live-action remake so far that has retained the innate feminine traits of the animated counterpart while also improving upon the original material. In the live-action remake of Beauty and the Beast, Emma Watson, the actress who played Belle, wanted to give her character more depth and be a strong female character for girls to look up to. This led to a couple of understandable changes, like a more practical outfit. But it also led to other changes in Belle's character, like downplaying Belle's compassionate and empathetic nature in favor of emphasizing her assertiveness, a trait more associated with masculinity. This led the movie to feel like a superficial attempt to create a feminist remake, thus falling into the pseudo-feminism category. This new version of Belle is still intelligent, curious, and has a deep love for her father, but there's also an arrogant, rude, and judgmental aspect that wasn't there before. They also made her an inventor, a trait that originally belonged to her father. Instead of utilizing this new interest of hers, its only purpose was to hammer in the fact that Belle was not like other girls. In an interview done with Entertainment Weekly, Emma Watson claimed that the villagers were trying to push Belle and mold her into a more acceptable version of herself. Which is a little ironic, considering that that's what the remakes are trying to do. They oddly chose to make Gaston a little more likable. With the first scene he's in, he's trying to take an interest in Belle's book, gives her a bouquet of flowers, and asks if he can join her for dinner. To which she replies, "Sorry, not this evening." "Busy?" he asks. "No." The inflection in her voice goes up at the end of the no. And then she walks away, shaking her head. Now, I fully respect her decision for rejecting Gaston, but this scene is drastically different from their introduction in the animated version. Gaston grabs her book out of her hands, and with her being visibly annoyed, she calmly asks for it back. As he continues his rudeness and throws her book in the mud, she handles the situation calmly and with humor, saying, "Gaston, you are positively primeval," to which he thanks her. When LeFou insults her father, she immediately stands up for him, stating firmly to not talk about him that way and that, "My father's not crazy, he's a genius." This clearly paints Belle in a positive light and Gaston as a jerk, while the remake makes Belle look like the one in the wrong because her rejection was awkward and could even be considered rude, rather than the grace the animated Belle possessed in her rejection. In the animated Beauty and the Beast, Belle is intelligent, kind, gentle, forgiving, very empathetic, as well as self-assured and courageous. I would consider her to be a very feminine character, and she doesn't take crap from anyone and stands her ground. She shows how femininity and strength go hand in hand, and how she does not need to present a more masculine attitude in order to be strong. She only begins to open up to the Beast once she sees that he's making an effort to change. Their relationship develops over time, with the narrative exploring empathy, kindness, and personal transformation. Like the Beast, she too was different from everyone else in the village, with people silently shaking their heads at her and judging her from a distance. It was made to be relatable for people who felt different from everyone around them. Truly, the only things Belle had in her village were her books, her father, and their horse Philippe. In the live-action remake, the villagers outright shame Belle for reading and making inventions, even going as far as to dump the contents of her homemade washing machine. As for her relationship with the Beast, they made them intellectually equal. But this led to petty bickering and bonding that felt more like a show-off match than real bonding. Overall, the live-action Beauty and the Beast was a shallow attempt at making Belle special and a real feminist. Animated Belle was already a strong female character, yet they felt the need to fix her. The live-action Mulan might be the best example of Disney creating an illusion of empowerment. It sought to emphasize her physical strength and combat skills as a form of empowerment. Since her childhood, she's been gifted in the art of combat, but was discouraged by the people around her as they favored traditionally feminine ideals such as getting married and being a housewife. Mulan was unlike anyone else around her. She was special. When she takes the place of her father in the war, she begins to excel in training, becoming one of, if not the most skilled soldiers in all of China. In the final battle, she lets down her hair and removes her armor, fighting as a woman with her godlike abilities and without all that pesky masculine armor to protect herself. The remake erases all her emotional depth and undermines the emotional and physical struggle that her animated counterpart had to go through. Animated Mulan was not a natural soldier. She greatly struggled passing as a man and completing the physical challenges, nearly giving up, but decided to persist. She had no experience as a warrior, but knew if her father fought, he would die. And that is why she took his place. Not because her entire life she had this calling to be a warrior, but because of the love a daughter has for her father. She is another princess that I would consider overall quite feminine. There are many moments when she is disgusted by the man's world and how men in the army would behave. Mulan also showed her emotions, crying when she was sad and smiling when she was happy. Throughout the entire story, she's trying to find who she really is because she's never truly fit in anywhere. Not in her hometown with their traditionally feminine ideals, and not in the army with their traditionally masculine ones. By the end of the story, Mulan learns to be a warrior without hiding her feminine traits and comes to an understanding of who she really is, and accepts herself. In the finale, she uses her traditionally feminine skills and apply them to her newfound army skills, like fighting the villain with a hand fan when she doesn't have a sword. She shows that a woman can possess both masculine and feminine traits, thus breaking free from society's box that she must fit into one or the other. Many writers mistake physical strength as a vital component in creating a strong female character, and end up creating a stone-cold character like the live-action Mulan. The animated Mulan delved into the emotional complexities of her character, showing that vulnerability, empathy, and a range of emotions are integral in creating a truly strong female character. The marketing done for the live-action Snow White garnered tons of backlash well before the movie even came out. The movie itself seemed to contradict the advertising, making all the drama seem pointless. But I'm bringing this back up because a lot of the marketing seemed to vocalize this attitude of needing to fix these animated princesses to make them strong female characters, when they were already so. Rachel Zegler, the actress who played Snow White, has been very vocal about this new and improved version of Princess. When asked by Variety about the changes the film intends to make, Ziegler responded with, "I just mean that it's no longer 1937. We absolutely wrote a Snow White that she's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be." This seems to be following the trend of devaluing romantic love in the live-action remakes, inadvertently sending a message that women who prioritize love are weaker than women who don't. This stance overlooks the complexity of women's choices and diminishes the significance of relationships and traditional feminine traits. The animated Snow White was a dreamer and loved love. She was also kind, generous, empathetic, trusting, and motherly. She was smart, displaying critical thinking skills when she needed a place to stay. She cleaned the dwarves' house so they might let her stay there. She also cleaned it because she thought orphan children lived there and wanted to do something kind for them to help out. A woman can possess all these traits and also be a leader, but from what Rachel Zegler has said, it's like a princess can't be feminine and also be a good role model. Disney keeps failing the challenge of truly reinventing these characters. Of course, there was lots of room for improvement with the animated Snow White, but this was not the way to do it. Unlike other remakes, I believe Cinderella showcases that empowerment can coexist with femininity, offering a progressive model of embracing multifaceted strength. Throughout the entire movie, Ella held on to her core belief, which was, have courage and be kind. Despite undergoing abuse by her stepfamily, she held onto her beliefs no matter how hard things became. Disney managed to improve upon the animated version. Animated Cinderella was also kind and resilient, but there wasn't enough time spent with her to fully develop her character. In the remake, Ella's relationship with the prince is developed by showing that they share the same values and beliefs, and accept influence from one another. Upon meeting, she doesn't know he's the prince, as he claims to be an apprentice working at the castle. She goes to the ball at the castle to see him, and that is when it's revealed that he's the prince. She treated him with respect and kindness regardless of his station. After their magical night, she held on to the memories in her heart, dreaming of a love that may or may not be. At the end of the movie, she stands up to her stepmother, no longer letting her control her life, and does so with grace and dignity. By retaining Cinderella's innate kindness, resilience, and feminine qualities, the film portrays her as a strong character without compromising her essence from the animated film. She didn't need to be more masculine or physically strong. This proves that femininity is not antithetical to strength and empowerment. The remakes intended to associate empowerment exclusively with traditionally masculine traits, suggesting that women need to adopt these traits to be strong and often have the protagonist talk down about qualities associated with femininity, further pushing this narrative. Of course, there are women who possess more masculine traits, and it is important to include those kinds of women in stories. But these movies are remakes of the Disney animated classics. It is not a retelling of the original Grimm's Tale, but meant to expand upon a movie Disney has already made. By pushing the characters to abandon their original identities and characteristics, the remakes can unintentionally diminish the authenticity and uniqueness of female strength. In an attempt to fix these characters, the new princesses fall flat, lacking emotional depth or any emotion at all, and filmmakers can pat themselves on the back for making a movie that truly empowers women. The animated princesses were never perfect, but they created characters that didn't need fixing, but could be expanded on. These women had the agency of choice and showed great resilience. The animated films laid the foundation for female characters who could inspire and resonate with audiences, while also challenging conventional gender roles that a woman is weak and helpless. Their depth, complexity, and ability to transcend stereotypes contribute to their status as examples of true feminism in the realm of animation. The successes and shortcomings of these adaptations reveal that true empowerment does not necessitate adopting traditional masculine traits or discarding femininity. Women should not be pinned against one another and forced into a box of what a strong woman should be. The animated Belle showed that a woman can be assertive and hold her ground while still being gentle, kind, and empathetic. Mulan displayed that a woman can possess both masculine and feminine traits, and there is no box that every woman can fit in. The live-action remake of Cinderella serves as a testament that strong female characters can embrace the inherent qualities of their animated counterpart while defying conventional limitations. To genuinely break free from gender stereotypes, Disney must create well-rounded characters who embody strength in diverse and authentic ways, celebrating both feminine and masculine attributes. I hope you enjoyed this video! If the script seemed a little formal, this video was actually adapted from an essay I wrote back in university. Back when writing it, I knew I wanted to make it a YouTube video someday, and here we are! I could have included more princesses, but I thought these 4 served as the best examples of what I wanted to explain. Let me know in the comments which other live-action princesses you think are pseudo-feminists, or which ones were done really well like Cinderella. If memory serves, I remember liking how they approached Jasmine's character in the live-action Aladdin. Honestly, making this video just makes me want to rewatch all the animated movies again, especially Mulan. Don't know which one is my favorite. It's either Mulan or Beauty and the Beast. I love both of those movies so much, and doing this video just reminded me how good they are, you know? I'm like, man, nothing can really beat those. And it made it, I think that made the live-action movies even more disappointing because their animated counterparts were just so good, and then the live-action movies were just so bad. It's like, how can you mess up that badly? You had a perfect base to work with. All you had to do was make a few changes to warrant a whole new movie. I don't know. They definitely could have done better, but they tried. They tried to do something different, so I guess kudos for that. With all that said, please remember to drink water, do your laundry, and take some time to enjoy your hobbies. Bye!